Welcome to my weekly self-important Magic the Gathering show, and I thought I was so cool and clever going to a royalty-free music site to put music in the background of this show. But I think, yeah, only the three episodes that I used it on, copyright claims for every song in the video from that site. I could go back and try to do something about it to keep the music, but no, I'm not going to. Their music was cool, but if it's going to get claimed, then forget them. Anyway, we're going to do... let me know if the audio in that one is all messed up now, because I tried to get it to where it leaves all the talking but just erases the music, but I don't know how well YouTube does that. Anyway, I said I was going to do, or cover, I should use the word cover, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles precon, my own spin on it, that only uses TMNT cards. Do I still have that up here? No. Set TMT or set TMC. And that's going to bother me. TMC. I don't know if this was in the last video, but I like how they put it up here, like hard to miss, that you already have one in your deck. I probably don't need the TMC, but that's just in case I take something out of my deck and change my mind later. Oh, I was wrong about something, 2 weeks ago? That other April O'Neil, where is she? This one, I thought that it might have been White April just with her face shadow, but no, if you really getting close, an image, a new tab, dang, nope, that's still most current April, so I was wrong. It's just I didn't know that they still had her in the yellow jumpsuit, really, even though she's probably in the yellow jumpsuit in that picture. That just looks weird, the way that one's drawn. Anyway, so we got to take out at least 34 cards, but we're probably going to take out more than that. I put these in my own personal categories. There are 39 lands. We're probably not going to mess with that too much, just because of all the different arts are fun. I'll probably mess with the number of individual basics, because I think we have all 5 basics: forests, islands, mountains, plains, and swamps. 4 forests and 2 everything else. But let's go over what's currently sitting here. So the face commander is actually over here in character select, because they put that Leonardo the Balance we probably glossed over, and then you match him with any of the other character select ones. But to keep my command zone more clean, I just used Heroes in the Half Shell, which is Wooburg for a 5/5 Mutant Ninja Turtle, Vigilance, Menace, Trample, and Haste. Whenever one or more mutants, ninjas, and/or turtles you control deal combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures and draw a card. So that's cool. Anytime one of your creatures that's one of those 3 types deals combat damage to a player, it gets a +1/+1 counter, and we get to draw a card. let's see. And this next section is all the cards that make me think of the video games. I just put it in arcade because that just put it near the top. We have Shell Shock, which happens in the arcade game because you can get electrified. For each opponent, choose up to one target creature that player controls. Shell Shock deals X damage to each of those creatures. You create a mutant condition for each creature dealt damage this way. So 1 in X, and it's an instant, so you can create up to 3 mutagen tokens. Just to cover what a mutagen token is again, it's an artifact token that says pay 1 and tap, sacrifice this token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, only as a sorcery. So that's at least in the wheelhouse of this deck, but it also is a pretty decent piece of damage-based removal, I guess. Yeah. I am going to auto-category it back to... Oh, it puts itself in instant because I guess the set's too new. Removal. Put it in removal. Oh, nope, the category already exists. So let's do this. We can't exit this category, but so let's just do this. I had a lot of organizing different things, but the ones you see are the ones. There we go. So now it is down here in removal because we're going to get rid of my silly categories. Once we look at stuff. Choose up to 4 target creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield with this turn. I'm going to throw that into the maybe board. Level up. That doesn't remind me of the arcade game specifically, but that is a video game mechanic, leveling up, or RPG mechanic. Enchant creature. When this aura enters, put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Then if it has power 10 or greater, draw a card. I'm going to put that over here. I'm not super enthused by it. I'm on team, unless you're playing some kind of Enchantress or Voltron thing, that auras aren't all that great. Super combo. TMNT did have a non-zero number of fighting games, I think. Replicate. So it's 1 in a green, but you can copy it for each time you pay the 2. Yes. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. That's really good. That can go down here in removal. It's a sorcery, so that's not great, but oh man, no, sorry, arcade cabinet. When this artifact enters, put a +1/+1 counter on of each to 4 target creatures. I'm sorry, I'm old and I'm getting nostalgia for the arcade when they had the 4-player beat 'em up arcade cabinets. And one game even had 6, I want to say 8, but it probably was only 6. And that was the X-Men arcade game. And man, when you could get everybody in, that was awesome. Because there's TMNT, X-Men, either 4 or more than 4. The Simpsons had a really good arcade beat 'em up game because the formula was really simple. It was just whatever, skin you wanted to put over the experience. And that's kind of like my rich person fantasies, that I'd get like all of those multiplayer arcade cabinets, and then the other fantasy is having enough friends to play them as a group. Anyway, what else does it do? Sacrifice this token, double the number of counters on target creature. Okay, that's cool and all, but that's going over into maybe. Exploding barrel, that is a very video game thing. I don't... Oh, yeah, no, they would have those. Add 1 mana of any color. Put a pressure counter on this artifact, and then 8 tap, sacrifice it deals 20 damage to target creature. This ability costs 1 less for each pressure counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. I'm going to put that over here because that's neat, but I don't know if I actually care that much. Because I'd rather have cheaper ramp for what it's worth. Here comes a new hero. 2 blue and X. Target player draws X cards. Create a token that's a copy up to 1 target creature with mana value X or less. I'll put that over here. That's cool and all. High score. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, put that many +1/+1. Put 1 additional +1/+1 counter on it. I just really should do that. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield. I'm gonna put that over here. I don't know if we need any increasers. But that could come up as a piece of card draw if we need it. Because like our commander will at least get us to draw cards. Oh wait, no, it says greatest. Very conditional. Special move. 2 and a red, choose 1. It's an instant. Jump kick, destroy an artifact. Okay. Dash attack, 2 +1/+1 counters on target attacking or blocking creature you control. Foot toss. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any other target, then sacrifice it. I'll throw this down into removal because it says choose 2 for 3 mana. So you have this like Shatter plus Red Berserk, or put 2 counters on something, which honestly might actually be the least interesting thing on that card, which is why I put it in the removal section. Although I guess it's not Berserk because it doesn't double their power, but still. Let's see what else we have. Coin of Mastery. You know, that's what you put in the arcade machine. Each creature control enters with an additional... Okay, how much does it cost? 4? With an additional +1/+1 counter for each mana from an artifact source spent to cast it. And then you can tap it to create treasure tokens. It costs 4 mana, and so that's what we're doing that. And then we have double jump to flying kick. Right? That's how you say fuse cards? Anyway, put a flying counter on target creature you control. Until end of turn, it has base power toughness 5/5. Okay, that's cool for 1 in a blue. And then flying kick. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. You know what? We should probably normalize combat tricks, because those are both instants. And also, again, it's a piece of removal. Since I'm only doing from the commander set and the base set, like it has to be turtle themed. Electric Seaweed from the NES game. That is from the infamous NES game that was very difficult. Defender Haste. When this creature enters until end of turn, whenever another creature dies, this creature deals 1 damage to each non-wall creature. Huh. Well, I'm gonna put you in maybe board. Maybe board is a big pile of stuff well, the maybe board will stay just as a statement, but like that stuff that's probably not coming back, if I'm being honest. Fast Forward. This spell costs 1 less for each opponent you attack this turn. Okay. Go to all creatures your opponents control. Okay, we're going to put that away. Though that might... Though actually that's really funny. I'm going to put that down in removal. Though, like, Super Combo, Shell Shock, and Fast Forward are all kind of mass disruption. Because they target, you know, more than one player's stuff. Game Over. This spell costs 2 less. If a player's life total is less than or equal to half their life, destroy all creatures. Not too enthusiastic about doing that, if I'm being honest. We're coming back to character select. We'll do that later. Okay, so these are cards that I don't know how you get them. But they're not in the precon. So these are non-precon collector booster only cards, and these are all just in-universe reprints. So we got Commander's Plate. So this one's bad, obviously, because our Commander's 5 color, and so it would gain protection from nothing. So that just goes over here. Dark Ritual doesn't really help us. Okay, so this isn't a reprint, so I have no idea where it is. Like, it's a common. Deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. No, we're not interested. Manhole Cover. It has Flash. When this artifact enters, target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Oh, and it's a... What's funny is that it's technically a clue, but since you can make any player draw a card, not just yourself, it's not labeled as a clue. We'll put that over here. I'd rather have offensive than defensive combat tricks, since I'm not too interested in keeping our commander safe, if I'm being honest. Our goal should be that we don't need our commander out, and there's just plenty of synergy. Raph's Bravado. During your turn, attacking creatures get +1/+0. Is that the same cost as... Control X. Ornith. Orn? Will be 1 in G. Nope, I was wrong. Is it Orna? Okay, so Orcish Orniflame is 4. So this is just a better Orcish Orniflamme, however that's pronounced. But we're going to put that over here. Ticked Off. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Okay, that goes over here. Waste not. That's whenever an opponent discards, you get stuff. Gross. Casey Jones, Asphalt Hooligan. It has double strike, and then any player can double its power until end of turn for 4 mana. Don't need that. Containment Protocol. Enchant creature. When this aura enters, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its untap step. Definitely not a turtle. When this creature dies, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a land or legendary turtle card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest into the bottom of your library in random order. That is very funny. Donatello's Science Lesson. Tap 2 target creatures, up to 2 target players each draw a card. Food Chain. We are... you exile a creature you control to add mana of 1 color where it's the mana value. And you can only cast creature spells with it, so we're not doing that. Leo's Guidance. On each up to 2 target creatures, untap them. It's more +1/+1 counters. We're doing that over here. Mikey and Mona, Mutant Sitters. Okay. They're doing something. When Mikey and Mona enter, choose one of the following. Each mode must target a different player. So this is there's a universe where I'd want to play all of these where you politic these modes. Target player chooses a creature they control to put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Target player returns a creature land card from the graveyard to their hand. Yep. And this is another one. 2/2 mutant. And a +1/+1 counter on each other creature that player controls. Target player controls. Splinter Ageless Champion. He destroys a tapped creature on entering, and then you and someone else draw a card when he leaves. Study the Classics. +1/+1 counter on target creature, then double the number on them, and then you gain life equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. Some crab person. Mikey. April. And I don't know who that is. No. Sword of Hearth and Home as a pizza cutter. Protection from green and white. You blink a creature you own, and then you pull a basic land card from your library onto the battlefield. Okay, that's neat, but we're not doing that. Triceraton Regenta. With a name like that, it's not legendary. That's kind of weird. Has vigilance, and when it attacks, you can give pseudo legendary or pseudo vigilance to another creature, or untap something with a tap ability. I'll put that over there. That, depending on where the rest of the deck goes, that could come back in. Who knows? Turtle Tracks. Any number of target players may each search their library for a basic land card. Huh. That's a politic card. April O'Neil, the Human Element. Whenever a player casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, you get a mutagen token. Neat. But the thing is that she's not a mutant, ninja, or turtle, and does not forward our mutant, ninja, or turtle plan. Foliage. Whenever a land enters landfall, this thing gets a +1/+1 counter. Mona Lisa, ever adaptable. Whenever a player casts a creature spell, you get a mutagen token. She is an ally, so I'm going to move her to auto. Does she just go in something? Yeah, she just goes in creatures. We'll fix that later. Monster mashup. Werewolf, fish, zombie, vampire. Huh. It has reach and menace. That is neat, but this deck doesn't need it. I'm going to check. I'm doing my editing of all three of those videos. Remove the claim song from all of the spots. Yep. But leave sounds such as speech. I acknowledge that this is permanent. So there's that one. Open this one back up. Like, I could try replacing the song, but I've seen the list of free songs that YouTube does, and I'm not a fan of them. Close that and then go down to the third one. Right? Yeah, because it wasn't until Earthbending. So dumb. Acknowledge. There you go. And then as soon as I remember to check, because I'll probably be doing this well after this video is over. Storm of Steel. Storm of Steel deals 2 damage to each of 1 or 2 targets. That costs way too much for that. Wooden Cane. It is an equipment. And it's one of those ones that comes with its own creature, but it only gives +2/+1. That's cool, but not for this. Casey and Raph, Hotheads. Target player exiles the top card of their library until their next end step. They may play that card without paying its mana cost. And then someone gets 2 treasure tokens. I'm not a fan of any of those and in person and other person. Adorkable Duo. Target player draws 2 cards. Target player returns an artifact, instant, or sorcery from their graveyard to their hand. There's a deck where I put all of these in them and just call it Bad Group Hug. Prehistoric Turtlesaurus. This spell costs 1 less if you control a creature with a +1/+1 spell encounter on it. And it has, you know what? Auto. It's going in. Because it is a mutant ninja turtle and dinosaur. Though it really it does just become a 4/5 for vigilance with for 4. So I thought it had cooler stuff. And I got too excited. Utrum Monitor. This is an enemy, so it's probably not going in the deck. It's also just a scientist. It has affinity for artifacts and flying. That's we're definitely going to do the bad guys thing. A deck at some point. I don't know, however long this one takes. Donatello, Rad Scientist, right? Is that what it says? Vigilance. When he enters, tap up to 3 target creatures your opponent controls, and then they each get a stun counter. It is at least a mutant ninja turtle, and it does some disruption. So, and it is one of the heroes in the half shell. That's not. Did Michelangelo get a card, and did I? He didn't get a solo card. Which is mildly interesting. Oh no, there's Michelangelo. Oh, wait, Leonardo. There is that solo Splinter. But he only destroys tapped creatures and the... Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, actually, yeah. There's the Leonardo. I just didn't look far enough ahead because he cost 8. Michelangelo on the scene. 4 green for a 2/2 with trample. Oh, but he enters with a +1/+1 counter for each land you control. And if he dies, he goes back to your hand. Okay. Raphael, tag team tough. He has menace, and when he deals combat damage to a player, for the first time each turn, untap all attacking creatures and you get additional combat. Sure. Leonardo, Worldly Warrior. 1 less for each creature control, and then he has double strike. Okay. Yep. And I think I'm going to change my mind over here for now. Splinter, Aging Champion. He might come back out of the deck. Depends on how I feel. Like, honestly, this Leonardo, he has double strike. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm sticking to my guns on that because I also didn't want to put that April back in this deck. What does she do? She makes... Oh, well, any player casts a creature spell. And then the Scientist at least does something. Maybe I'll come back to that one. The +1/+1 counters, that's kind of our wheelhouse. Tag Team Tough, extra combat, that at least does something. We'll come back for this Leonardo because he's expensive and he gets less expensive, but I don't know how less expensive he gets because we don't know how many creatures we're going to have on the field at the same time. We will read the foes section and then we're just going to might just delete them. Mole Module, it's a vehicle with crew 2. When it deals combat damage to a player, mill 4 cards, and then put a permanent card from among them onto the battlefield. That's not really what we're doing. Biogenetic Ooze, I don't know why I put this in foes, probably because doesn't feel like an ally. When this creature enters, you get a 2/2 green Ooze. At the beginning of your end step, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other ooze you control. Isn't this an existing card? Yeah, that's what I thought. Biogenic Ooze, yeah. Well, we don't want that. Marauding Mutagen, which is just this acidic slime, so it destroys target artifact, creature, land, and it's not any of our creature types, so I don't care. Rat King, Rat Avatar. When this one enters, or another non-token creature you control enters, you get a rat. Then you sacrifice a token to draw a card. This guy can be his own commander in a non-rat themed deck. I like him a lot. Because all of your tokens are clues. But he goes over here. Dimension X Pizzasaur, Food Alien. Okay, so at least he has the mutant subtype, so that's good. When this creature enters, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. When you do, destroy up to 1 target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of counters among permanents you control. Huh. Oh, and then you can, and then it's a food that heals you and hurts everyone else. That's actually really good. I was thinking I wasn't going to put any foes in here, but that's at least cool. And it's on our creature types. Humongous Fungus, which is actually, what is that? It's something. Oh, Corpse Jack Menace. Okay, it's something that doubles our +1/+1 counters, but it's not in our creature types. And I'm going to see if I can avoid things like Hardened Scales and stuff like that. Toka and Rezar, unsupervised. Whenever it's a Turtle Wolf mutant, so it has 2 of our creature types. Not that that matters. You only really need 1 of them, but, you know, it's nice. Whenever another non-token creature you control leaves the battlefield, okay, and that's leaves, not dies, so it counts exiled and bounced back to your hand. That's important. Put +1/+1 counter on Toka and create a trader token. Once a turn. And it only costs 3, so that's cool. Aggro Amalgam. This is really Voracious Hydra. Okay. It enters with X +1/+1 counters on it and either fights something or doubles the number of +1/+1 counters. Tempestra, Dame of Games. She's a elemental illusion. You can pay 2 and a red to tap her to sacrifice an artifact, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it isn't legendary. Gains haste when you sacrifice it at the end of the turn. She's cool, though her ability is a little expensive compared to other you know, copy your own stuff. But it says that, but de-legendifies it, so that's cool. Your copy. Slash clone, it's just a Turtle Hydra because it's just Steelbane Hydra. The one that you can pay a lot to destroy artifacts or enchantments with. Bing. Cards from the Foot Clan. Some of these I'm going to keep to, in spite of everything, like Assassin's Trophy is a good piece of removal, so that's going down to, it put itself back down in removal, I hope. Yep, Assassin's Trophy. Destroy target permanent opponent controls, and then they replace that with a basic land. Bebop, Skull and Crossbones, they got their own deck the other week. It partners with the other one, and they when it deals damage to a player, you may draw X cards, where X is the number of counters on Bebop. If you do, you lose X life. They can search each other up, but I'm not too interested in that. Foot Chopper, it's a piece of equipment that creates its own creature, and that gives flying. Deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it if you do draw cards equal to its power. Oh, that's neat. Not for this deck, but that's neat. Roadkill Rodney. It's a robot. It has squads, so that's cool. And then you get mutagen tokens every time it deals combat damage to a player. Not for this deck, but that's cool as heck. Endless Foot Assault creates... Oh, it does create ninjas. Yeah, that's just going in enchantments. Oh, tokens already has a category. Okay, so let's do this. Tokens. Ding. That still might come out because it's a cool card, but is it a great card? Yeah. The Mutant Marauder. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Like I said, they have their own deck. Swift Demise. Swift Demise deals 1 damage to target creature, then destroy each creature you don't control that was dealt damage this turn. This is sweet. And I'm going to put that into removal. And as it's an instant, that actually goes cool with each creature that you don't control. So that can go over here with this electric seaweed. As kind of an interesting combo. But it's not in our creature types. But that's also a good thing with, where's that one that was fast forward, but I don't remember its mana value or its color. Start from the top because I'm dumb. And play continue, foot chopper, level up, Raps bravado. Ticked. What does ticked off do? Oh yeah, you give a creature double strike. Definitely not a turtle. Oh, it's fast forward and I did put it over here. Oh, good for me. Baxter, Fly in the Ointment. He is an insect mutant scientist. So when he enters or attacks, each creature you control with a counter on it gains flying until end of turn. Yes. Big Mother Mauser. This creature enters with 2+1/+1 counters, and it costs 4, and it's a base 0/0. When this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. So it's a 2/2 until it attacks the first time, then it's a 4/4. When this creature dies, you create 1/1 robots equal to the number of counters that were on it. +1/+1 counters specifically. This doubles triggers that trigger off of drawing a card. That's cool. It can go in its own thing. Human Ninja. Whenever Shredder attacks a player, for each other opponent, create a token that's a copy of Shredder. Tap on it attacking that player, except it isn't legendary. Sacrifice the tokens at the end of combat. Whenever Shredder deals combat damage to a player, that player loses their half of their life rounded up. Yeah, I shouldn't put it again. I shouldn't put their enemies in this deck, but like that's really good. And we still have time to take them out when we finally go and look through these. And I think I don't actually need the TMC since I haven't actually removed any of them from the deck. I just threw them all on the maybe board. Anyway, Heralds of the Shredder. It is actually... Oh, Vigor. If damage would be dealt to another creature you control, prevent that damage and put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. Oh, that's neat. But it's not in our wheelhouse. Blasphemous Act. We're not going that far. Okay, these are friends. These are confirmed, at least sometime, allies of the Turtles. We're going to call Raph a finisher. Okay, that category already exists. That one, of all of the cards, got properly put in. I'm also going to call Baxter Fly a finisher, even though flying doesn't guarantee a win. But, like, that still feels like the correct place for him. Shredder's not exactly a finisher, but he definitely helps close out the games. This goes into removal. Removal on a creature. I'm not calling this ramp since it only creates one treasure token a turn. Let's see. I believe counters. Yep, that's a section. Technically, we could also put her in tokens, and like Michelangelo can go in lands, but like they care about they deal with tokens. Okay, so friends moved over here. Lita, little orphan amphibian. She is a turtle, which is a reptile, not an amphibian, but you know that's something they get wrong in the show too, in the old '80s show. She is a 2/1 for 2. Whenever another creature you control enters, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. So we get up to 3 things. So she is white Gallagreeters, apparently. Put a +1/+1 counter on Lita. Create a food token or scry 1. We'll put here up in counters for now. I don't hate her. Irma, part-time mutant. She gets to stay because she turns into a copy of something, only she keeps her name. So good. Mona Lisa, science geek. She has reach and she's a mana dork, but if we hit +1/+1 counters on her, she can add more mana, so she can stay. Ray Fillet, Wave Warrior, aka Man Ray. It has Evolve, so if something else with greater power comes into play, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Whenever a creature you control with a counter on it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, so that's in our wheelhouse. Casey Jones, Back Alley Brute. When Casey Jones attacks, you get a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Whenever you want to put one of our counters on a creature you control, Casey Jones deals that much damage to target opponent. So he's not one of our creature types, but he can ping opponents. So we'll put that up over there. When Leverhead attacks, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Oh, that is worth it for 7. We're ignoring our lands for now because we'll do a thing where I go down here and see what my costs are to see if I need to change my anything. Does this... Oh, good. We're actually under 100 by a good margin. I guess pizza is next. It's just the 2 cards that had pizza. I just had to single them out. Oh, and that's the last unique tag, because ramp, while it was there the whole time, isn't like unique to anything. So Ninja Pizza, food. Oh, your foods are treasures. Put that into your food decks. That's cool. And then you get a free food every second main phase. That's not going in this deck, but that's a sweet card to put into food decks. Because now your food is multi-purpose. Everything pizza. When this artifact enters, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand and shuffle. Okay. That by itself is garbage for 2 mana. But then you can pay 2 generic and Wooburg to sacrifice this artifact. Target player gains 3 life and draws a card. Each of your opponents discard a card. This artifact deals turn damage to any target. Yeah, don't care. Then we have good old Soul Ring that looks like the sign to a pizza place. That's mildly funny. Arcane Signet, which is the turtle communicator. We'll keep the chromatic lantern in because it's ramp that color fixes us. We can name a lot of people on the internet who don't like that card, but I am not one of them. I'm fine with it, especially in a 5-color deck. And I'm also fine with it in a 4-color deck. It's when you get down to 3 that maybe not. Cultivate is not my favorite ramp card, but it's the one that's in this set. 2 basic lands, 1 into play tapped and 1 into your hand. Oh, TMNT. This was... Okay, so I lied. And I also forgot that was an area. These are ones that I felt had too many, like a whole bunch of turtles on them at once. Together Forever. 2 white, right? Yep, okay. When this enchantment enters, support 2. You put 2 +1/+1 counter on each up to 2 target creatures. Choose target creature with a counter on it. When that creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. Yeah, that's... Whoops. Yep, does Recursion have its own? No. Okay. Add category. Recursion. Right category. And then we can get rid of that one. You have to have mana open for it, but I do feel like that is a fine card to have. Now, where's the TMNT section? It's down here. Harmonize, that's just draw 3 cards. Lessons from Life, draw 3 cards. You may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. No. Wave Goodbye, return each creature without a +1/+1 counter onto its owner's hand. Oh, yes, of course. And I put that down here because I'm not entirely sure if that would go in arcade, because I don't remember that from any arcade. So that is removal. And then Vanquish the Horde, destroy all creatures. We're not doing that. So, we're doing a mass disruption category. Because they're not removing stuff, they're just sort of mass disrupting. That hits one thing. That hits one thing. That hits multiple things. This can technically do 2 things, but I still consider 2 mass. Mass is each opponent. At least 1 thing. Super combo. And Shell Shock. So, for what it's worth, we would like 6 more pieces of ramp, 1 more piece of mass disruption, and like at least 6 to 8 more pieces of removal. Still going by the most recent game night's template. Like we have like 1 more land than they do, but I've decided I'm not going to touch the land base because I think they did they gave us a really good land base, I think. And I also just want to keep all of these arts. I mean, they gave us a lot of tap, choose your own dual land. They gave us 3. Oh, Ninja. Oh, look at that. Target Ninja or Turtle cannot be blocked this turn. That's pretty sweet. Because the Shredder can use the Turtle layer. Yeah, look at that. We also have Evolving Wilds and Ash Barrens, like, yeah. They, I think people were pointing out that they put City of Brass in this precon. It's like, what? And then Big Apple 3AM can make rats, which is pointless for this deck. And then it's basically choose your own basic land, only it's not basic. But, you know, whatever. Terrible, terrible land to have in your opening hand. So we are down to 73 cards. I can safely say that I don't actually think anything from here is going to go back into this deck. Select all. It's getting dumped into the sideboard. Okay. I was just going to see if it would tell you that Commander decks don't have sideboards. Because I can both sideboard and maybe board, like sideboard everything that's not. Oh, you know what? Select all. I think we need to be big boys and delete that whole section because there was nothing in there I was super attracted to. So now let's. We're not going to stop when we get the 27 more cards. We're just going to pull up anything that looks like it could fit. Agent Bishop is cool with the +1/+1 counters, but he's not any of our creature types. Action News Crew. Is a spell shaper, as it turns out, but it costs 6. Discard. Oh no, you discard this. It's a channel ability. Pay 6, discard this card, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, draw a card. No, but that's neat. I'm just not going to read the pizzas. That's drawing cards, which is not any of the things. She is a ninja and can't be blocked by a creature with power 3 or greater. She is going into the maybe board. Reporter of the Weird. Draw cards equal to the damage she deals to a player, then discard a card. Shark, Horror Mutant. Whoever Armageddon is, he's a future shark, though. Oh. He's a flash creature that can destroy up to 3 target creatures. That might be our other piece of mass disruption, because that's hilarious. Though it's a lot expensive, but eh. Baxter Stockman creates robots and makes robots bigger. Bebop and Rocksteady, you have to sacrifice permanents or discard a card to have them attack or block. Bebop the Road Warrior, that's the one that makes your rhinos better. Bespoke Bow. When this equipment enters, return up to one other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So it's a mana war piece of equipment, and it gives +2/+1 in vigilance. That's neat, but we're not doing it. But bashing time, deals 6 damage to target creature and exiles it instead of if it would die. Brilliance Unleashed. Choose one or both. 5 damage to target creature or 1 Augur, and then, okay. Broadcast Takeover. Gain control of all artifacts your opponents can. Okay, nope. Buzzbot is a robot. When it dies, you draw a card. Courier of Consumables. I believe they called the pizza delivery guy that in like one of the movies. Gonna hydrate. When this creature enters, you may search your library for a food card and put it in your hand. Shuffle. If you don't do this, you create a food token instead. That's neat. Not for this deck, but I would love to put that in a food deck if I had food in the deck. Cool but rude. This is Raphael's class. Whenever you attack, discard to draw. May. Whenever you discard a card, deals 2 damage to each opponent. Whenever this cast becomes level 3, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and shuffle, then discard a card at random. That's neat. We're going to maybe board that as well, just because it's Raphael's personality. Nah, I'm not much of a rummager. Make artifact big. Draw 3 cards, and then on your next upkeep, discard 3 cards at random. No. Enters, top 4 cards of your library, don't care. Cowabunga. With the top 4 cards of your library, and if there's a mutant, ninja, turtle, or land, you can put them into your hand. Not a big fan. Oh, Crustacean Commando. That's who Mikey was hanging out with on that other card. When this creature enters, you get a mutant djinn. I remember having this in draft. Didn't do good with it, but, you know. Mostly because I was terrible. Dark Leo and Shredder. Attacking ninja you control have Death Touch. Okay. Whenever Dark Leo and Shredder deal combat damage to a player, you get a ninja. Then if you control... you know what? Yeah. Okay, failed to save changes. We got to do this. As annoying as that is. Set TMNT. We're having a moment. Dark Leo and Shredder. Hey, yeah. Death in the Family. Exile target creature mana value 3 or less. Dimensional Exile. This is basically ossification. We're putting... Hold on. Everything should be cleaned up now. Basically, ossification with a different name. Though I don't know if ossification can hit other things. But hey. Oh, Dimension X. We're going to put that in the maybe board because we're going to... Because it enters tapped, we get 1 life, but maybe we want that instead of a different land. Because now we have choices. We can get rid of some of those ones that tutor for basics, because I'd rather just get a land that I can eventually... Since they come into play tapped, I'd rather just play a land. Donatello does machines. Self-mill. This one copies artifacts we control. We will maybe board that one because I want to see how many artifacts we have in the first place. Mutant Mechanic turns an artifact into a creature. And if that artifact is put into the graveyard. You can put its counters on another artifact or creature you control, so that's kind of neat. But I don't think we want to do that. Donatello's Technique. Sneak, I think I've said before, it's fixed ninjutsu, but you can also put it on, but they also put it on non-permanents. Control an artifact, draw a card. Whenever an artifact you control enters, it gets a +1/+1 counter, but I don't think we're doing enough. I really like Don and Leo problem solvers because it's basically Thassa Deep Dwelling and Teleportation Circle in one, or 2 Teleportation Circles since it's artifact or creature, one of each, up to 1 of each, and it blinks them. I don't know how useful that is for this deck. Thing is, yeah, I don't think we're you down in removal while I'm looking. Wait, no, you're mass disruption because you hit at least 3 things. So that's all my mass disruption that I really need. This is, I think, no, I'm going to put this in finisher, even though that is a generous term. I understand it is a generous term, but I just feel like that is more helpful to group them together. Oh, and you are regular removal. Yeah, we just don't have a whole lot of artifacts in this deck. I might re-grab that 1 artifact I took out, but that'll come later because that was in TMC. Yeah, I don't like, if I'm not getting both, I don't really care enough. Whenever Dawn and Wrath attack, the next non-creature spell has affinity for artifacts. That's neat but not helpful. Dream Beavers. When this creature enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. Scry 1. That's neat. Not the greatest, but it's just a funny card. Eastwind and a Fatar. Doesn't really help. This creature gets +1/+1 counters whenever other creatures enter. Everything pizza. When this creature leaves the battlefield, create a food token. Oh, that's Dirt Bird. Foot Elite. Whenever this creature attacks, another target creature gets +1/+1 indestructible. That puts in a lot of work in limited, I'll tell you that much. That in the maybe board. Foot Mystic, it has lifelink, and then when creature enters, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, you get a ninja. When this one enters, you gain 3 life, and it has sneak, so it's a 5/5 for 4 if you return something else to your hand. Frog Butler, it's a frog spirit. It can gain reach. Fugitive Droid, General Trang, Heart of Stone, Genghis Farog. Whenever Genghis Farog or another mutant control enters, create a mutagen token. Well, he does only cost 2, so that's fine. Go Ninja Go, exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield, or Go Ninja Go deals damage equal to the greatest power among creatures you control the target creature an opponent controls. Well, that is another piece of removal. Ground Chuck and Dirtbag. Whenever you tap a land for mana, you get an additional green, but he costs 6 to bring out, so that is a little late to be ramping. Grounded for life. Destroy target creature. It costs less if that creature is tapped. I'm just ignoring the pizzas. Combat trick. Quick creature has double strike. Interesting that they changed Wrath from size to Jite, which apparently is just a Sai with, or a Sai is a Jite with an additional prong thing on it. That's just mildly interesting. Henchbots, High Flying Ace. Oh, that's a mutant. You can give another thing flying. Ice Cream Kitty, Food Cat Mutant. Sacrifice another creature or token, draw a card only as a sorcery. Okay, Ice Cream Kitty. Very sad creature, but it turns all of your other creatures and tokens into clues. So that goes in. Because we could be making a non-zero number of mutagen tokens. And a non-zero number of token creatures, too. Maybe board this land. Whoops. Improvised arsenal. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control, and then you can pay an additional 5 to copy it. Insectoid Exterminator. Doesn't do anything interesting, just trust me on that one. When she enters, she brings a mutant with her, and she can planes cycle. We'll maybe board that. And then her technique deals 2 damage to each creature. I think we're gonna put that in Mass Disruption, because that's another thing that we can, that if we have the mana for, and it's really expensive, mind you, to combo with that other card that destroys all creatures we don't control if they've been dealt damage. I've changed the way I'm sitting, so I'm going to have to click on these to read them. Karai, Future of the Foot. She's a human ninja. Whenever Karai deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card from your battlefield to your hand. If she was snuck out that turn, it goes to the battlefield. Yeah, I like her. I will find her and put her in recursion. You go into card draw. And then you go into counters. There we go. Every now and then we should go back here and make sure things are in. Jeez, poor removal. We have more pieces of Mass Disruption than we technically need, but I'm not going to remove any of them, because one of them is kind of expensive, and it's also just a creature that that is of creature types we care about. Her technique. Oh, she can make one thing +3/+3 and another thing -3/-3. That's going to go into my removal section. It's not great. Actually, no, we're going to maybe board it for now, because like I said, it's not great. Fox Warlock Avatar. And their technique is milling, so I don't care. When Koya enters, exile up to one other target creature. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay that. If you don't, it returns. I can maybe board for now. Krang Mastermind, affinity for artifacts. You draw if you have fewer than 4 cards in your hand, and then it gets +1/+0 for each artifact, each other artifact, since it itself is an artifact. Krang and Shredder, that has a lot of words. When it enters or attacks, that's steel stuff. Not a fan of doing that. Artifact creature go bird. Once you get up to that, was that 9 mana you need for it? This is just a finisher. Dang it. Press the buttons on the side. Oh man. Press the buttons on the side of my mouse. Yep, okay. Leader's talent. Not exactly the words from the song, but whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had a counter on it, you gain 2 life. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's neat, but I don't think I want to go through the trouble of leveling it up. Here's a different Leatherhead. Sometimes ally, sometimes enemy, for the record. That's what I read. Hex enters with a hexproof counter. Oh, whenever Leatherhead deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a counter from her. I didn't know Leatherhead was a lady. I apologize. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Yes, we will take that. It's also a 5/4 trample. And also we can put I think we can stack it to where we put a +1/+1 counter on her first before removing them. Each other creature you control. Lessons from life. Leonardo's technique. Leonardo's Sewer Samurai. During your turn, you may cast creature spells with power toughness 1 or less from your graveyard. And they enter with a finality counter, which means that if they go away again, they stay away in exile. Leonardo, leader in blue. And then he does like a trumpeter thing if you sneak him in. He gives himself first strike, not too impressive. Leonardo, cutting edge. Yes, the superior Johnny's pride mate. Lord Dreg, insect invader. Madam Null, power broker. We can pay life to put counters on stuff. Not in our creature type, but that is at least a maybe board worthy card. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. Manhole Missile deals 3 damage to target creature, and then it's a worse. Oh, what is it? Flame Prophecy or something like that? Because I think that could hit any target. And then you could tuck a card at the bottom of your library and draw a new one. Mechanized Ninja Cavalry. It creates a robot, so that's not important. Metalhead, it's a robot turtle. It's a 5-mana mana war where you can sacrifice artifacts to put +1/+1 counters on Metalhead. That gives him menace and haste. So basically, with your mutagen tokens, you can specifically spend red mana to give him haste and menace. We're gonna maybe board Metalhead. Michelangelo, Game Master. At the beginning of your end step, if a opponent left the battlefield under your control, he gets a +1/+1 counter. I'm not too interested in that because we're not doing a whole lot of sneaking. Michelangelo, Improviser. He has sneak though. When he deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature card and/or land card from your hand onto the battlefield. That's at least a maybe board. Because that probably reads better than it actually plays. Whoops, wrong one. Michelangelo, mutant best friend forever. Each creature you control with a counter on it can't be blocked by more than one creature. Oh, hello. And then, okay, nope, he's definitely in the wheelhouse. Michelangelo's technique. Top 8's out of your library. Michelangelo, weirdness to 11. He just creates a mutant engine token and puts extra counters on things. I think we'll skip that. Mighty Mutanimals. When this creature enters, we get an additional mutant. And then whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1 counter you control and counter creature. I don't think that's good enough. Mikey and Don, Party Planners. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Also has Ward 2. You may play lands and cast mutant, ninjas, or turtle spells from the top of your library. If you cast a creature spell this way, it enters with the additional +1/+1 counter. That sounds like our wheelhouse. Mikey and Leo, Chaos and Order. Whenever you put a counter on a creature you control, draw a card once a turn. That's... Yeah, we'll maybe board that. It's card draw, but it's only once a turn. Probably because it would get completely out of control. Mind Transfer Protocol. No. Mondo Gecko. Discard a card until end of turn. Oh yeah, becomes a color and gains expert from that. Mauser Attack. Mauser Foundry. Mauser Mark 3, I think that says. Kind of blurry for me because my eyes stink, even with glasses on. Activated abilities of artifact tokens you control cost 1 less to activate. Okay, so that makes your mutagens free. Let's go. And then you also get X mutagen tokens when he enters. So very good, and he's a mutant. Yes, very yes. Please and thank you. Mutant Chain Reaction. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying, then create a mutagen token. Maybe board the land. Oh, check this really quick. Take action. Erase song. I acknowledge that it is permanent. This is not a copyright strike, but on the off chance I ever get monetized, this could affect that. I could ignore it, or I could just erase the song out of spite, which is what I've been doing. If anyone knows some truly copyright-free music that I can just play at the in the background of my stuff, like preferably free because I am a poor person. There we go. In progress. Go back to my... Next page. Mutant Town Musician. It's a mutant bard performer. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1 so until turn. Good old negate. New Generations technique. It has sneak. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Oh, I see, but you have to sneak. Ninja Team. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses his life. Nobody, a human hero. Glad to see we got a hero in this set. When this creature enters, return up to one other target artifact you control to its other's hand, scry 1. We're not doing the Northampton farm because it doesn't tap for mana. Northwind Avatar. That must be a storyline that I don't know about. Because I think I've admitted this before, but I have not kept up with the Ninja Turtles. I'm not a Ninja Turtle superfan. I've never read the comics. I've watched all of the live-action movies that I know about. I saw their silly concert video thing. And then I watched the original cartoon. I did not stick with them at all because to me their toys weren't as cool as G.I. Joe or Transformers. Even though I have not caught up with Transformers at all, or even G.I. Joe. But I still buy, like, if I, despite being a poor person, if I can scrape off some money, I would buy a G.I. Joe or Transformers toy. More likely G.I. Joe, because the Transformers toys are just ridiculously expensive. But you can still get semi-cheap G.I. Joe. The Nunchaku, Null Group, Biological Assets. This creature has first strike during your turn. Oh yeah, this thing put in a lot of work in Limited, just by being a 3x first striker. And then you could also, that also rummages. I'm not a fan of it, but like in Limited, you kind of have to churn through your deck to get to your best cards. Old Hub, Alley Cat Blues is a mutant rebel. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you get a red mutant creature token. Oh, but you have to sacrifice it. Okay. That's neat, though. Omni Cheese. Ooze Spill. Rokusaki. Oh, this will allow us to draw 1 card whenever it deals combat damage to a player. We'll maybe board that at least. Pain 101. Until on turn, target creature gains Death Touch, and when this creature dies, return to the battlefield. Okay. What is that? Paramecia colonies? Paramecia colonies. Whatever that means. It's a zombie worm. That makes you mill, so I'm not interested. Party Dude. When this class enters, each player creates a food token. Food Mutant. This, I think I've commented that this guy goes into your food decks. When he enters, you create a food. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, put 3+1/+1 counters on up to 1 other target artifact or creature. If it isn't already a creature, it's a 0/0 mutant in addition to its other types. And then you can also pay 10 to sacrifice him for 15 life. It's definitely a maybe board. Prehistoric Pet. Dinosaur Ninja. Oh, it has Skulk. But they didn't put Skulk on it. They should have put Skulk on it. Because that is, can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Then return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. Activate only during your turn. It's not going in the deck, but it's neat. Primordial Pachyderm. It's an elephant avatar. Punk Frogs. Not exactly Battletoads, but I feel like it is a reference. It has Ward 3. Purple Dragon Punks. Putrid Pals. This might be a Toxic Avenger reference, which is weird. It enters with 2+1/+1 counters if something else left the battle, if another permanent left the battlefield this turn. Under your control, I presume. Ragamuffin Raptor. Raphael, most attitude. This weird conditional impulsive draw, I'm not a fan of. Raphael, Ninja Destroyer. He must be blocked if able. Whenever Raphael is dealt damage, add that much red mana. Until an turn, you don't lose this. It's worth a maybe board consideration. Raphael's technique is Wheel of Fortune. That's mildly interesting. Raphael the Night Watcher. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. That's good. Raphael Tough Turtle. He's Impact Tremors, I think, because I think that targets. Raffin Leo, Sibling Rivals. We sort of get a second attack phase with them, so that's probably worth it. Raffin Mikey, Troublemakers. When they attack, reveal the top card of your library until you read a creature card. Put that card in the battlefield tapped and attacking. And oh, yeah, no, free stuff. He also has haste, so that makes it not too bad. The Rat King, we did a terrible deck for him. If we wanted to, we could try to make a Shadowborn Apostle version of that deck. I'm not entirely sure how good that would be, because I don't think I'm good enough to like really pin down what would be good for that. Because he only makes one rat a turn, but then again, he does return all other ones. So it's kind of it would be interesting to try to build a deck around that. Ray Fillet, Man Ray. When he enters, you get a mutation token. Oh, remove +1/+1 counter from a creature you control to draw a card. Yes, yes, very yes. Renee, Temporal Apprentice. It's just a human wizard. Retro Mutation. It has flash, so that's actually good. It might come back out, but it basically turns a creature into a 0/1 turtle with no abilities that can't attack. So it gives it Defender. But doesn't give it Defender the keyword specifically, because there's other things that interact with Defender. We'll return to the sewers. Put something on its top or bottom of their owner's library, and you get a mutagen. This destroys non-creature artifacts. This is the rock steady that makes your boars better. Sally Pride, Lioness Leader. Oh, when Sally Pride enters, she creates a bunch of mutants equal to the non-token creatures you control. And then she puts +1/+1 counters on all your creatures. That is Wheelhouse. Times Exile is a demon wizard. Nah. Saved by the Shell. It costs 1 green if you have a turtle, and then It's a protection piece. No, that taps or untaps stuff. The Shark Shredder Killer Clone. Whenever Shark Shredder deals combat damage to a player, put up to one target creature card from that player's graveyard into the battlefield under your control, and are just tapping and attacking that player. I am okay with stealing from graveyards. That's the only type of stealing I'm okay with. Shredder's Armor. Discarding. Oh, Shredder's Technique. This is the third card that black has that can store enchantments at the cost of 2 life. Well, one of them can cost more life, but you know. Shredder Unrelenting. When Shredder enters or attacks another target you control, gains Death Touch until end of turn. Neat. We'll skip that one though. A Skateboard. Slash Reptile Rampager. Whenever another creature you control enters, this is a better Raphael. And then when he attacks, you get a... Oh, this is a way better Raphael. 5 mana for a 5/7 that creates a 2/2 in addition, and then does 2 damage to each opponent. I am only going to maybe board that one. Slithering Cryptid creates a mutagen token. Southwind Avatar. Have we seen all the winds? North. I think I saw northwest and now south. I don't know. Well, no, I guess we would have saw east, huh? So the only one we haven't seen is west because it's further down in the alphabet. Go me, figuring that out in one thought. Spicy oatmeal pizza. Splinter Hamato Yoshi. He has... Oh. He gives us our other ninjas +1. But we're not going to do that. Oh, here's Esper Ninjas if we ever felt like caring just about ninjas. But I don't like single type typal because, like I said, they build themselves. And like, you could say that this one's building itself, but it's like it's 3 types. So we're just kind of putting the best of what we like in it. Splinter's Technique is Demonic Tutor if you sneak it out. Squirrel Mutants, they have Death Touch. Mad Flying Tiss, you draw a card and discard a card. Stomped by the Foot. No, not. Super Shredder from the movie. Whenever another permanent leaves a battlefield, he gets +1/+1 counter. Tainted Treats. Destroy target artifact or creature. If its mana value is 4 or less, you get a food token. Huh. Maybe board. The Technodrome. It is only a 3/3. That's incredibly funny for how huge that thing is. But it can't attack or block unless its power is 6 or greater. And then he can sacrifice another artifact to draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay, I get it. It being a 6/6 makes much more sense from when it actually attacks. So, like, that's the flavor of they have to keep building it. It can defend itself. It can defend you when you're attacked, but it's not ready to go on the offensive until for a couple of turns. Tenderize. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power. Target creature an opponent controls. We will maybe board that because I'm not entirely sure where I am on removal. The cloning of Shredder. Oh, right, because this can make us copies of stuff. The Last Ronin destroys all creatures. That's a specific storyline I learned from other videos. Last Ronin's Technique. It creates Spirit Ninjas. Good old Neutrinos. Not very interesting. unfortunately. Though I did kind of like their episode and the original cartoon. The ooze, whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter leaves the battlefield, create a mutant control, for each counter on it. Exile a card from our graveyard. You know what? Yes. Like, it's the Ozolith with extra steps, but considering we're not getting the Ozolith, it's also one more than the Ozolith, but still. But it also means we have better control of where those +1/+1 counters go. And that our eggs are not all in a single basket. The Terrible Twins can't be countered, has menace. Whenever a player casts a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast it was less than that. Oh. This punishes sneak. Well, a lot of sneak and ninjutsu and mana reduction. We're not putting it in, but this thing did hit me quite a few times during Limited. Transdimensional Bovine. It is an Ox avatar. Add 2 mana of any one color. Triceraton Commando. It's a Dino Soldier. Tunnel Rats. They are just rats. Turncoat Kunoichi. It's a Ninja Fox. When this creature enters, destroy target creature an opponent controls. Exile that creature if this was... until this creature leaves the battlefield. Oh, but if you sneak it in, it's just plain exiled completely. For... maybe. Maybe. Turtle Blimp. It creates a mutant. This specifically for turtles. We don't care about that. Search your library and or outside the game for exactly 4 legendary creature cards you own with different names. Turtles in Time. Oh, wow. Return all creatures to their own hand. Each player may shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library. Then each player who does draws 7 cards. Exile Turtles in Time. Wild optional reset. Uneasy Alliance. Ultram Scientist. Venus Torn Between Worlds. Venus Milo, the first female turtle that I remember. When she... she's a Fungusaur. If she's dealt damage, she gets +1/+1 counters instead. And she's draws a card with extra attacks, but it is for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter. Oh, it can be any type of counter, but yeah. Weathermaker, Landfall. Oh, that's a neat card. There's the Westwind Avatar for the record. Wingnut. Could have swore Screwloose was also a character, but apparently that didn't make the set. Whenever another creature you control enters, Wingnut gains your choice of Flying Menace or Hasten Dawn of turn. And then when Wingnut attacks, everything else gets +1/+0. Then Zog, Triceracon Castaway. And then Zoo Escapees. Scroll to the top, just in case I want to be up there. We are at 94 cards. So let's deal. You go into counters. Let's find my removal section. Pull removal section. draw. She's counters. She's counters first, even though she creates a lot of things. I'm going to call it specifically grave robbing. Oh, you are card draw. I'm going to further desecrate the word finisher by putting Raphael there. I think I moved the wrong one. I'm probably going to rename this section to aggression. I'm going to count this as draw because you're because being able to cast stuff from the top kind of counts like that. He creates mutagen tokens, so we'll put him over here, even though we could put him into aggression as well. Yep, that definitely goes into aggression. And this goes into counters. You know, I never did go over character select. So all of these will do some kind of helpful thing. She creates clues whenever a mutant, ninja, or turtle enters. That's why she gets to stay, even though she is not a mutant or ninja or turtle. At the beginning of your second main phase, if you attack this turn, put a +1/+1 counter. That's very annoying. On target creature and create a food token. Whenever Splinter or another non-token creature you control leaves the battlefield, you get a mutagen token. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, you get those plus a mutagen. And this is whenever a token you control enters, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control once a turn, and then creatures you control gain menace, trample, and lifelink until end of turn. And then double damage that creature until the counters on them would deal. When Raph enters, you get a mutagen. So if I ever want to change my commander to Leonardo plus one of the other ones, I can. I do like having all of them in the deck because they do all sort of fit the theme. Her the least, but that's also why her art is different, I guess. So we haven't added anything. We have 6 more spots free. And then we've cleaned everything up, right? There's no... Like, our ramp section is still just absolute rat garbage. way our land is probably fine. Like, we definitely use more green. I'm gonna get rid of the vibrant cityscape because it just searches for a basic. What do you do? Whoops. Fart on a fart. Undergrowth Stadium. 2 or more opponents. Look at that. They normally don't put those in our decks. That casts ninjas and turtles, but not mutants. The mana of any color. But also makes a ninja or turtle unblockable, so we can pay, what is that? An extra 3 if we really wanted to sneak one of our ninjas in. Then we have these thrivings that aren't going away yet. The hollow, 2 more basics, 2 or more opponents, 2 more basics, 2 more basics. Mountain Aura Forest. It's a cycling one. Path of Ancestry. That's good because everything except for like April and yeah, everything except for like April, I think. We'll get that that scry. Like she's the oh wait and Casey. So we have two things here. Dang it. People who make mice, don't put buttons on the side of your mice. Anyway, oh, we were all the way up to Path of Ancestry. That is Forester Island. Oh, Hidden Hideout is a tapped version of Command Tower. Target creature you control with a counter on it gains lifelink till end of turn. That's cool. Grand Coliseum. Oh, Grand Coliseum is tapped City of Brass. Okay. Fabled Passage we'll take out. Exotic Orchard is lands an opponent controls. We'll take out Evolving Wilds. I know that like lowers the chance of certain other lands entering the battlefield untapped. Escape Tunnel. Nope. Dragon Skull Summit. There's Command Tower. City of Brass. Cinderglade. Big Apple at 3 a.m. You know what? We don't need to make rats. And I know like it's a fixer. But no. So we're down to 33 lands. That puts us up at 38, so that frees up a spot. I said I wasn't gonna futz with the lands, but then I saw that we had a new cycle of life lands, or is this weirdly finishing a cycle and I didn't know, or is this now a cycle and a half? Because that is wildly weird. But now we have 7 spots. We are going to go to grid, and then we're going to go down, because there's nothing I'm in a hurry to take out. So we're going to go down to the maybe board and look at stuff we want to put in. So Tenderize is another piece of removal. We have 8 pieces of removal, so let's put you in there. I don't think we need this Donatello. I do like this. I like I like the fact that it's basically a 6 power swing if there's... Oh no, that's a sorcery. Boy, that made this card terrible. Oh wait, no, but you can sneak it. No. I've changed my mind on that card heavy. This thing is potential card draw. I really wouldn't call that ramp because because you're either going to get 1 red or 4 or more red. Because they're either going to take them out or they're going to chump. There's 12 cards here, and we can put in 7. You know what? Once a turn is probably good enough. Though Mikey and Leo, I think, is one of the least strong of the duos. Once turn is more than 0 a turn. Especially since we don't have a whole lot in there. Oh no, that's my mass destruction. Did not go down far enough. She scries 2, that is not card draw. Scry 3 is almost drawing 1 card, if I recall the logic. Oh, jeez. It costs 4, so it hurts to call that ramp, so I'm going to put this in aggression. You know, because it's stuff that wants you to attack and doesn't fall into another category. I really do like this, using our 40 life as a resource to, and there are a non-zero number of things in our deck that will gain us life. As long as we're making mutagen tokens. Okay, 3 more. I just want to change this back to stacks, so I'm not scrolling nearly as much. Then we're going to go by type. We do have 38 creatures. We do not have nearly enough ramp. But Too bad there wasn't a card that could turn mutagen into tokens. Or mutagen into food, and then we put in the thing that turns food into treasure. Oh, we have card draw in the command zone too. Let's see. I think the potential card draw from Rokusaki. Two more things. I don't need any more creatures, and I realize what I want to look for. Set, whoops, open parentheses, set TMT or set TMC O, add space, minus T, land. There we go. So the exploding barrel. Did she end up in ramp? I don't remember. You cost too much to count. Boy, you're tempting. Because you cost 2, but we still can't use you on until the 3rd turn. 2 mana of any one color. I guess that's technically better than whatever else I was planning on putting in here, which was the... Actually, no, Weathermaker's kind of fun. I mean, it's landfall, and we're not landfalling. Yeah, we're not landfalling, so this, while this is fun, you'd have to draw really super early. So I think we're going to have this trans-dimensional bovine, because it adds 2. There we go. Nose was complaining, so I had to shut it up. Huh. Artifact spells are activated in ability. That's mildly interesting. You know what? We'll do Weathermaker. What's funny is that we took out the things that could do 2 landfalls a turn, but yeah, we'll just do Weathermaker. Unless I just put in too many cards. Nope, that gets us to 100. And that puts our terrible ramp section up to another number. Select all. You are ramp. Our terrible ramp is now up to 6. There's like a couple other things that technically count as ramp, and then of course tokens are down here. I'm going to move this from tokens to aggression because I don't want it by itself at the bottom. There. That just makes that feel better. Now if we go down here, 4 forests is probably, and then 2 everything else, still feels like it's still the correct move. And as always, this deck could have been better. But with the limitations that I put on myself and the direction I wanted to go, I think I did pretty good for what it's worth. And apparently this is only $100 deck, excluding the basic lands. For what that's worth. A lot of removal to make up for the fact that my deck is terrible. How long did that take? That took an even 2 hours. So this was the Turtle Precon movie. I'll see you next time. When maybe we'll do more turtles, I have no idea. I really don't.